What the H is going on, my friends? Today I'm coming at y'all with a little new. We're going to go through and do our power rankings going into week 8. Now, the beautiful thing about power rankings is that it's just one person's opinion. This is how I personally rank the top 10 teams in the league. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Don't be a gall darn jerk, man. Come on, don't be writing.
Oh, you must not know ball. Oh, casual take.
Get that the fuck out of here. Let's have some fun. Let's do it. P.S. Chiefs fans, be ready to be upset. So, number 1, I got the Ravens. Now, I think that that'll probably come to a surprise to some people, given as it seems like the consensus is that the Chiefs are the number 1 team in the league right now, but I think the Ravens are the most complete football team without a doubt. I mean, obviously, their defense, I don't think is quite as good as it was last year, but I still think that it is a very, very strong unit. And on top of that, they have one of the scariest backfields in NFL history in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I mean, they have proved to be pretty much unstoppable from week 2 on. And at this point, those week 1 and 2 losses feel so fluky that I don't care. Okay, they lost to the Chiefs week 1, they lost to the Raiders. Whatever, it's gone, it's in the past. I think that this team is coming to full form and they are continuing to just be absolute menaces. This Ravens team just feel like it doesn't really have any holes, which is why I put them above the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have some serious fatal flaws on offense. And yeah, I get they just got D-Hop, but like, I cannot have a team with that big of flaws at the top of my power rankings just because they're 6-0. But whatever, we're not on the Chiefs yet, so I will shut the hell up for a second and just keep going through my power rankings. Number 2, I got the Lions. Yeah, fuck the Chiefs. So Vikings just lost to the Lions this week, and again, I think that this is just a really, really solid all-around team that really doesn't have a ton of holes to it. I put the Ravens above them because I trust Baltimore's defense a little bit more. I think Detroit's defense has kind of come into its own here. They're looking a lot better than the past couple of years, although I still don't think it's some great defensive unit, whereas the Ravens, I think, are probably a top 10 to top 5 unit, somewhere in that range. And also, I do like Baltimore's offense just slightly more as well. Obviously, the Lions' offense is scary as hell. They have one of the best running back duos in the league, probably the best, in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And obviously, Amon-Ra is great, and Jared Goff is great at throwing the ball. He's been having a hell of a season, so I think that the Lions well deserve spot number 2 in the power rankings this week. Number 3, I got the Vikings. Obviously can't put them ahead of the Lions because they just lost to them, and obviously that game could have gone either way, but I do believe that Lions team is a little bit better than the Vikings team right now. I just worry about the Vikings offense. Obviously, Sam Darnold, he's been playing well, but it's still Sam Darnold. You kind of just you're still hoping that the floor doesn't just completely fall through at some point, and I don't think it will. But I trust Jared Goff more than Sam Darnold. That's my long-winded way of saying that. And as for the defense, I think our defense is really, really good. We had some awesome free agent signings this offseason. But the one thing that worries me is that they were a pretty good unit last year. And then, like 2/3 of the way through the season, people started to figure out how to defend all of Brian Flores' blitz, and we were not as good. And we also definitely lost some key pieces, so we were playing some depth players, but that worries me a little bit too. I mean, look at the Lions game. They really didn't have any trouble against our blitz, and that worried me a little bit. So, still got faith in the Vikings, still think that they are a very good top 5 team, but I just have a few more question marks around the Vikings than I do either the Lions or the Ravens right now. Okay, next, now we got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs in my 4 spot, and like I said before, I'm not putting them number 1 just because they're 6-0. When you have such a fatal flaw on your offense that Patrick Mahomes literally can't fucking play football right now, he looks like Will Levis out there, I can't put you in the top 3. Like, I can't bring myself to do that. None of these other teams above them have as major question marks as I do about the Chiefs right now. And yes, I get that this is a very, very good Chiefs defense, probably the best one of Patrick Mahomes' career. However, I also don't think that this is some, historically just cracked defense that can will this fucking team to a Super Bowl. Like, this offense is going to have to start doing something at some point. And I don't know. It feels like such a fucking fluky 6-0. Like, It kind of feels like to me when the Vikings went 13-4 in 2022, the Chiefs keep winning these shitty one-score games, and they keep getting bailed out by the fucking refs in classic Chiefs fashion. So, no, I am not going to put the Chiefs in the top 3 because I do not think they're that good. Do I think they still have a chance to win the Super Bowl? Obviously, they are the Chiefs. I hope to God that they do not, but yeah. Still think the Chiefs are a really, really good team, but they got to figure it out on offense, and hopefully adding D-Hop fixes that. Well, hopefully not. I want to see the Chiefs fail miserably, but... Okay, next. This one also might be a bit of a surprise, but I'm going to go with the Commanders. I feel like people in general are a little bit too low on the Commanders. Like, they are doing the same shit that a lot of people were doing to the Vikings so far this season, where it's like, okay, this game is the prove it game. Like, after this game, they're actually good. Okay, now, no, next week is the prove it game. It's like, guys, come on. They're fucking good. Just admit it. Stop making everything a prove it game. I mean, that offense is just absolutely unstoppable. Jaden Daniels looks awesome. It seems like he avoided a major injury, so that is also great for the Commanders. And I don't think this defense is as bad as people think it is anymore. Yes, they were really, really bad the past couple seasons. I understand that. But, I mean, they've been holding it together. Have they been great? No, but they've been allowing them to win games. I mean, they almost beat the Ravens, for fuck's sake. Like, I think it's time that people start giving the Commanders their flowers. They are a good team, so I'll be the first one to do it. I'm going to put them in the top 5 this week. Okie dokie. So, in my 6th spot, I got the Packers. Now, I think the Packers are a pretty good team. They just got some question marks that, you know, don't allow me to put them any higher than this. So, the offense... Jordan Love needs to stop turning the ball over so much. Like, yes, it makes for really fun, entertaining football to watch, but ultimately it's not helping this team win games at the end of the day. Like, yes, I get he's also throwing for 3 or 2 touchdowns when he's doing that, but you can't be throwing consistently for 2 picks a game, turning the ball over multiple times a game. That's not going to allow your team to succeed in the long run. And also, I think that this defense is better than I gave them credit for at the beginning of the season. And I'm still not exactly sure how good they are. They've had a lot of takeaways that have helped the team win a lot of games, so that's been great to see for Packers fans. But I don't know. I still just have some questions about this Packers defense and team as a whole. I mean, they barely squeaked out a win to the now 2 rim, but at the time 1 win Rams. Obviously they almost came back against the Vikings, but I feel like that was just a very fluky game and a lot of things went their way at the end. Barely beat the Colts. I don't know. I think the Packers are a good team, but as I said, they just have some issues that make me not able to put them any higher than the 6th spot. All right, number 7, on a similar note to the Packers, the Bills. So I think that the Bills are a really good team. Obviously, when that offense is firing, it is firing, and they now have Amari Cooper, so that also brings some more confidence to me for the Bills offense. As for the defense, they definitely have some question marks. I mean, DeMar Hamlin is your starting free safety. That's never great. But the Bills are just such a tough team to predict, dude. I mean, they go out there and they smoke the Titans 34-10. I mean, whatever. Titans are dog shit. Barely beat the Jets 23-20. Barely lose to the Texans. Frankly, probably should have won that game if Sean McDermott didn't poop himself, and got absolutely destroyed by the Ravens. So I feel like what's going on here is that the Bills really are a quality team, but I think they're one of those teams that just beats the shit out of not very good teams and kind of struggles against actual contenders like the Ravens. I absolutely think that they could turn this around. I mean, the Bills started off, 6-6 last year, were super unlikely to make the playoffs and ended up pulling it off. I think that they could easily turn things around second half of this season and be way more consistent. But as of right now, I just have way too many questions about the Bills to put them any higher than 7. Okay, and next, moving on to the Texans at number 8. Texans defense has been surprisingly good this year. I think that they've really helped them in a lot of their games. I mean, frankly, with the way that they were playing, they should have willed the Texans to a victory over the Packers. But that gets to my next point, the offense. What the hell is going on, CJ Stroud? 86 yards, that's not great. He's had some good games this year, but I would say overall, I haven't been super impressed by CJ's performance this year. Joe Mixon has a huge game. I'm kind of a Joe Mixon hater, so I'm like, okay, when is the bottom gonna fall out for this dude? But he may actually just legitimately be good, and I'm tweaking. But yeah, I mean, CJ Stroud, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I get Nico's out, but this was like well regarded as one of the deepest and best wide receiver rooms in the league prior to the season, bro. You still got Tank Dell, and you still got Stephon Diggs to throw the ball to. What the hell are we doing? And Tank Dell ends up putting up nothing against the Packers, and Stephon Diggs went like 5 for 23 or some shit, putting up a Wan'Dale Robinson stat line. But yeah, I don't know. The Texans just, I have some concerns with them. I think they have some things they need to address and figure out. I don't think this is a contender at this point. I think that they're a good team that'll make the playoffs, but nothing serious. Okay, next we got the Chicago Bears at 9. And I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you Bears fans. I tried my very best to not put them in my top 10, but ultimately I couldn't do it. I say that because the Bears go out there and beat 3 of the worst fucking teams in the league. The Jaguars, the Panthers, and the Rams. And all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, yeah, no, they're contenders. They're really, really good. And it's like, all right, did we forget that they lost to the Colts? They lost to the Texans. They barely beat the Titans. And I get it's hard to include the first 2 weeks just because Caleb Williams was playing so shittily. But, like, I can't help but wonder how much of him playing well is playing against the worst defenses in the league. Like, I want to see him play a legitimately good team, a good defense, and still do well. So next week they got the Commanders, not the greatest defense, but that's at least a good test because the Commanders offense is phenomenal. But yeah, it's just been annoying me how people are hyping up the Bears like fucking crazy. And it's like, all right, calm down, guys. You beat the worst teams in the league and lost to another one of the worst teams in the league. So that's not fair. The Colts aren't that bad, but ultimately the Bears defense is super legit. They're very, very good. I mean, that's the reason I couldn't put them outside of my top 10. I'm just going to spoil my next one because I think they're very comparable teams. So in my 10th spot, I had the Steelers, and the deciding factor there for me to put the Bears over the Steelers was like, I think I probably prefer the Bears offense at this point. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still skeptical about Caleb. I need to see him do it against a good defense. But aside from that, I don't like the Steelers defense. I mean, yeah, Russell Wilson, he had a good game last week, even though he was bailed the fuck out by his wide receivers making great catches, and most of his yards came from checkdowns. But whatever, don't need to get into that. Justin Fields was decent out there, but he also wasn't putting up insane numbers. He wasn't creating a destructive offense out there. But again, similar to the Bears, very, very good defense. I think that I prefer the Steelers defense to the Bears defense, but I prefer Chicago's offense to the Steelers offense. So ultimately, I think that the offense being better is the tipping point. Really, now that I'm elaborating on this, I'm really second guessing it. I could flip-flop these two teams and really wouldn't fucking care. But yeah, no, so that's the top 10 right there. Bears 9, Steelers 10, very close between these two. Pretty close between the next few two. I'm not going to elaborate on any of these guys. I'll just say who I got next on my list. 11 Seahawks, 12 Falcons, 13 Eagles, 14 49ers, 15 Bucks. I guess I'll briefly say something about each of them. Seahawks, I think that I trust Geno slightly less than the average NFL fan seems to, and I don't trust this defense either. Falcons, I think they're probably going to end up winning the NFC South with, the injuries to the Buccaneers, but there's just something's a little dysfunctional about this team. I need to see them consistently perform on a week-to-week basis. Eagles, this offense is just fucked up. I mean, Jalen Hurts threw for like 115 yards last game, and almost all that came off that A.J. Brown deep bomb, and this defense just isn't very good. The Eagles are not what they once were a couple of years ago. Niners, injuries. Brock Purdy needs to start playing like old Brock Purdy again. Bucks, injuries. Yeah, I say more. All right, cool. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my Week 8 power rankings. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment. Tell me where I fucked up. Tell me what you agree with. Any support is appreciated. Click like, click sub. Love you guys. Bye.